What's going on, everybody? Lil Chris here, and in today's video I have my second match from the Texas State Open. Because if you can recall from my previous video, I got completely destroyed by my opponent 1-9. Now here on the one loss side against this opponent, we do have a more even match as we share similar Fargo ratings. So let's see if I can perform a little bit better than I did for my first match. Alright, so with this first rack, I did win the coin flip. So let's see how my opening break will go. I am trying to get the left wing ball, or the 5 ball in this case, to fall into its respective corner pocket. And then with the cut break that I'm doing, I am expecting that the 1 ball will come off of the right side rail and then head towards the corner pocket to which I'm breaking from. And then with bottom left spin, I am trying to get the cue ball to come over to the left side rail and then spin back towards the middle of the table to have position on the 1 ball, provided that I do make a ball on the break. You can see the 5 ball misses the corner pocket on the right side. The 1 ball does hit the side rail, but doesn't come anywhere near the corner pocket that I'm wanting, and I didn't get my cue ball to land near the middle of the table. So a complete failed break. So now my opponent comes to the table. He has a free shot on the 1 ball, but the 2 ball is at the other end of the table. So it looks like he's going to try to draw off the 1 ball and try to zigzag the cue ball on the way up to the 2 ball. He does manage to get position on the 2 ball, but misses the 1 ball. Now with me back at the table, because of my loss from my previous match, I am playing this one a little tighter than I'm used to. So instead of trying to cut the 1 ball into the corner pocket, I do try a safety. I push the 1 ball to the side rail and have it come back out while I try to hide my cue ball behind the 3 ball. You can see I'm not successful hiding the cue ball behind the 3, but the 5 does block a lot of the 1 ball. My opponent was only able to see a small sliver of the 1 ball that he does try to hit. But he ends up clipping the 5 ball, and I get ball in hand. So with this, I just play the cue ball to be straight in with the 1 ball, so I can just play a stop shot for the 2 ball. Now we can already see that the 3 ball can go into the upper left corner pocket, but then you're going to see me come all the way around to see if the 3 ball passes by the 5 ball for the upper right. And it does. So I play the 2 ball into the corner pocket with just a little bit of bottom spin, so the cue ball will come off of the short rail and head down table to get position on the 3 for the same pocket. So that rolls a little farther than I would have liked, but it's okay here. I put some bottom spin on the cue ball to play the 3 ball and draw back for position on the 4. And you saw how the 3 ball went in. It catches the side rail. So right there, it's already plaguing my mind about how the 3 ball actually could have hung up. And that's the mistake that I do want to try to fix and not actually catch the side rail on the way to the corner pockets. If anything, I just want to catch the right jaw of the pocket and have it go cleanly in and not bobble its way in. Basically like how the 4 ball fell in. So I have position on the 5. I'm going to try to play the 5 into the corner pocket and just have the cue ball roll to the short rail and then come back out for position for the 6 in the other corner pocket. And this time I bobble it just like how I thought the 3 ball was going to stay up. Now I'm just lucky that the 8 ball blocks the path to the 5 ball. I didn't even get the position that I wanted for the 6 ball. I would have to try to cut the 6 ball into the same corner pocket if the 5 ball did drop. Now it looks like he's got his jump cue. He's going to try to jump over the 8 ball. And then we can see that the cue ball flew off the table. He does pocket the 5 ball, but I have ball in hand again. So with this ball in hand, I don't put the cue ball to be straight in with the 6 ball. I do give myself a slight angle so that way I can play the 6 ball into the corner pocket, and the cue ball will naturally come to the side rail, and with a touch of right spin, I have the cue ball come back out for position for the 7 to go into the opposite corner pocket. And then from here, I just have the cue ball stun over from the 7 ball to play the 8 ball in the opposite corner pocket. So this is pretty much just a center ball hit. Now with this 8 ball, I do have a small angle. So you're going to see me play this with a little bit of topspin, and I'm going to have my cue ball come off of the short rail and head towards the 9 ball. So I would have liked to hit that a little bit harder just so I can be a little bit closer to the 9 ball. But now I'm going to try to shoot the 9 ball into the corner pocket. And if you can remember how I missed the 5 ball, I missed the 9 ball the exact same way. And you can already see the frustration I have. Now I'm a little lucky that the 9 ball does not roll far enough to where my opponent can cut it into the side pocket. So he's probably going to have to bank it. So just like before, we are patiently waiting for other players around us to take their shots. And he is successful with the bank shot and takes the lead 1-0. So now with my opponent leading 1-0, let's see how his first opening break goes. He's able to get the wing ball to go into the corner pocket, the cue ball is in the middle of the table, and the 2 ball also falls into the lower right corner pocket. Now it doesn't look like he can see the 1 ball though, it does look like the 3 ball blocks it. So let's see what my opponent tries to do here. Checks to see if he can see a sliver of the 1 ball. And he elects to play a push. So this is something that you can do right after the break. Any incoming player can do this right after the break. They announce that they're going to push the cue ball, and they can literally push it wherever they want, hit whatever ball that they want as long as they don't scratch. And now with me at the table, I can either shoot it where it lays or give it back to my opponent. But I do decide to shoot it because I'm going to attempt to play a safety. I'm going to bank the 1 ball to the other side of the table and have the cue ball hide behind the 3 ball. And I actually get a little lucky that the 1 ball runs into the 6 ball like that, because that's what allows my safety to be successful. So it looks like he's going to go to the short rail to kick at the 1 ball. He does get a successful hit. And leaves me jacked up over the 8 ball. So I think here I try to combo the 1 into the 6. Because I think the 9 ball actually blocks the path that I need to be able to cut the 1 ball into the upper left corner pocket. And I barely missed that combo. So now here with my opponent back at the table, I don't think the 1 ball passes by the 3 ball in the lower left corner pocket that he's looking at. So I think he's going to try to shoot the one ball into the upper left corner pocket and have the cue ball come 3 rails around, but it bumps into the 7 ball and he misses the 1 ball. So now with me back at the table, I can either cut the 1 ball into the upper right corner pocket or play a 1-6 combination. And I do try to play the combination. And I'm expecting the 1 ball to head towards the corner pocket if I'm successful with the combo. And even though I am successful with the combo, I hit the wrong side of the 6 ball, and that's why the 1 ball stays where it's at. Now, it can go into the side pocket, but the window is really, really small. I'm going to try to play it into the side pocket anyway and draw the cue ball back over to the 3. You can see, and I just caught the point, and the 1 ball does not go in. So now from here, he can play the 1 ball into the side pocket and kind of stun the cue ball over for position on the 3. And looks like he's got some topspin. So you can see how he was going to try to play position on the 4 ball, but he misses the 3 ball. And now with the 7 ball and the 4 ball being where it's at, I don't have a bank shot. So I actually tried to play the 9 ball here. I'm going to billiard the cue ball off of the 3 ball and then try to draw it into the 9 ball and play it into the corner pocket. So I got the hit on the 9 ball, but not enough to even come close to making it. Now this time, the 3 ball, unlike the 9 ball from the last rack, is far enough away from the side rail that he can cut it into the side pocket. So I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do. And it looks like he's got some right spin on the cue ball, so the cue ball should come to the side rail, short rail, and back out for the 4 ball. Even catches a 3rd rail. I guess he was straight on that 4 ball, so he just goes ahead and plays it in and has to play the 7 ball into the opposite corner pocket, avoid scratching in the opposite corner pocket, and then try to get the cue ball to come back up table for position on the 8 ball. Makes a really good cut shot on the 7. Cue ball comes all the way up, gets perfect position on the 8 ball. So what is this? Looks like some draw. He's going to play the 9 ball in the same pocket. Yep. And my opponent takes that one down, and I'm off to another bad start, being down 0-2. Now in rack 3, let's see how my opponent breaks again. The wing ball falls into the corner pocket. Cue ball really doesn't go anywhere, but it does look like he's going to have a shot at the 1 ball. We can see the 2 ball near the middle of the table. So he's more than likely going to play this with some topspin, have the cue ball follow after the 1 ball to be able to play the 2 ball into the side pocket. Elevated over the 7 ball. This makes this shot a little bit harder. And he overcuts the 1 ball. So now with me back at the table, I try to play the 1 ball into the corner pocket with some bottom spin so I can pull the cue ball back towards the middle of the table for position on the 2. Just like that. Now from here, I just roll the cue ball to the 2 ball, have the 2 ball go into the corner pocket, and the cue ball follows forward for position on the 4 ball. And then from here, I try to play the 4 ball into the side pocket with some topspin so I can have the cue ball come off of the side rail and back out for the 5 ball. I just overcut the 4-ball, catch the point of the side pocket, and it just bobbles there. Pretty much like how I do with the corner pockets. So he was able to hit the 4-ball full and draw back for the position on the 5. We're probably going to see the cue ball go from one side rail to the other. This takes a little bit of top right spin to do that with. Just like that. He now has position on the 6-ball. And he's probably going to have to try to draw off of the 6-ball to get position on the 7. But he also bobbles the pocket. Now from here, I can cut the 6-ball into the corner pocket. The cue ball will naturally go over to the short rail. So with a little bit of left spin, I have the cue ball come back and head towards position for the 7-ball to go into the corner pocket. And then from here, with a little bit of top spin, I'm going to have the cue ball follow forward, hit the side rail, and then come back out for position on the 8. You see how I caught the side rail again, or the short rail this time? So my accuracy needs to be improved. I don't want to catch those rails on the way to the pockets. So from here, I'm going to cut the 8-ball in. I have a little bit of right spin on the cue ball as I try to get the cue ball to come off of the side rail and then back up for position on the 9-ball. I just hit it a little too hard because I really don't want the cue ball to be on the side rail like this. You already see how inaccurate some of my shots are. So I was a little nervous when I shot this 9-ball. But I was able to take it down and I'm on the board sooner than my previous match. Now going into rack 4, I'm down 1-2. Let's see how my break goes on this one. The wing ball misses the corner pocket on the right side again. So I need to learn to rack better for myself so I can get the wing ball to fall into the corner pocket just like it would for a template rack. Now with this wide open table, my opponent has a free shot on the 1-ball, and it looks like he's going to try to play position off of the side rail with some bottom right spin. Pretty much just like that. He can now shoot the 2-ball into the upper right corner pocket. It looks like the 4-ball would block the path he would need to have the cue ball come off of the side rail and behind the 7-ball for position on the 3. So he'll more than likely stun the cue ball above the 4-ball and have the cue ball come between the 7 and the 9 for position on the 3. Just like that. Now he can play the 3-ball into the lower right corner pocket. It looks like he's going to have to grab the bridge, though. He does. And if you're wondering about how I'm calling these corner pockets, I did try to have the camera to where you can see the length of the table to where the upper left corner pocket would be the pocket that he's standing at, and the lower right corner pocket would be the pocket he's trying to make the 3-ball in. So he massively draws off of the 3-ball, does get position on the 4-ball, but now he's going to have to try to draw off of the 4-ball to get position on the 5. And he overdrew it by a little bit. I don't think he wanted to come that far back. Checks to see if he can play the 5-8 combination. Now, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a safety or if he was trying to play the 5 ball into the side pocket. Now, the camera angle does not show it, but the 7 ball does not block the path to the 5 ball. I can see it. So I try to play another safety like I did before, where I'm just going to bank the 5 ball to this end of the table and try to leave the cue ball at the other end of the table. Okay, it looks like he answers back with a safety of his own, leaving a lot of distance between the cue ball and the 5 ball. This is a basic safety where you have distance. So I am going to try to play the 5 ball behind the 8 ball to go into the corner pocket. There is a small window. I just don't make it in the window. I am lucky on the position that I got, though. So it looks like he was trying to play a defensive shot and have the cue ball hide behind the 8 ball, but I can see the 5 ball. So from here, all I'm going to try to do is just play a stop shot. And then now from here, I can play the 6 ball with a little bit of bottom left spin so that the cue ball comes off of the side rail. It'll stay underneath the 9 ball, and I'll have position for the 7 ball to go into the lower right corner pocket. And then with the angle that I have here, I do try to push the cue ball forward to come and hit the short rail and then come back out for position on the 8. But I just end up overcutting the ball and caught the point of the corner pocket. Pretty much selling this rack out to my opponent. He has a free shot on the 7 ball. He should be able to shoot it into the upper left corner pocket and draw the cue ball over to the side rail and back out to play the 8 ball into the lower left. Looks like he can't reach it. He's not grabbing the bridge. Oh, instead, he has an extension to put onto his cue. So we can see he's got bottom spin on it, so he is going to try to draw the cue ball over to the side rail. So here he probably will cut the 8 ball into the corner pocket and have the cue ball go from one side to the other to play the 9 ball in the same pocket. Now he's got draw on it. Is he going to draw underneath it? He does draw underneath it, and he can still play the 9 ball in the same pocket. And rack 4 goes to my opponent. All right, going into rack 5, I am down 1-3, and it's my opponent's break. Let's see what he can do with this one. Okay, the wing ball misses the corner pocket on the right side, but it comes all the way around and falls into the lower left corner pocket. We saw the 1 ball go into the side pocket, and I believe the 2 ball went into the upper right corner pocket. Now my opponent has this wide open table. It looks like he's going to be playing the 3-7 combination. So we'll watch the 3-ball track up table probably come off of the short rail and then back out for the corner pocket, just like that. And now it looks like the cue ball will be coming off the side rail to play the 5-ball into the opposite corner pocket. Pretty much wants to get a similar position from the 6-ball, so he's probably shooting this with bottom right spin. Don't think he wants to get straight in, though. Okay, he has a small angle, so he'll probably just draw straight back off of the 6-ball to play the 8 in the opposite corner pocket. Just like that. And then with bottom left spin, probably get the cue ball back to where it's at or near where it's at and play the 9-ball into the lower right corner pocket. No, never mind. I see top right spin, so he goes 3 rails and plays the 9-ball into the upper right corner pocket. Nicely done there by my opponent as he was able to break and run the 5th rack. Now in rack 6, my opponent has a comfortable lead 4-1. Let's see his break on this rack. He got the wing ball to go into the corner pocket, so he's breaking much better than I am. So it looks like he's going to have to try to play this into the upper right corner pocket. Not sure what he's going to do for position, though. So he overcuts the 1-ball. He does manage to bring the cue ball back down table. Now with me, I have a shot to play the 1-ball into the lower right corner pocket. But I'm not going to try to do anything fancy with the cue ball. With the 2-ball being where it's at, I'm going to try to set up for a billiard to play the 4-ball. I was able to make that shot. Like I said, nothing fancy with the cue ball. Just let it roll on up. And now I'm going to hit the 2 and try to billiard the 4 into the corner pocket. You can see I have some bottom spin on the cue ball. And the billiard ended up being overcutting the 4-ball, and I missed. So now it looks like he'll probably play a combination. That is what he tries. Unsuccessful with the combination. Gets a little bit lucky there. He gives his hand up there as a gesture of apology. As I am hooked behind the 8-ball, and I'm going to have to jump over the 8-ball to play the 2-4 combination. So I am successful with the jump shot. I just didn't want to cut the 2-ball the way that I did because I should have been able to hit the 2-ball full. That way the cue ball will stay pretty much where it's at, and I'll have a shot on the 2-ball for the same corner pocket. Because now from here, I'm going to try to play a safety by clipping the 2-ball on my left side so it doesn't really move. It just goes a little bit further to the upper left corner pocket and try to bring the cue ball back to where the 7-ball's at, or at least back up table. So I do leave a thin cut shot on the 2-ball. So that is what he'll be trying to do. So and he overcuts it with a double kiss on the 2-ball. Now from here, I do try to cut the 2 ball into the side pocket, and you can see that I have draw on the cue ball because the natural angle will cause me to scratch. So I do try to have the cue ball come off of the short rail and back out for position on the 3. I just didn't hit it hard enough. And so from here, I'm not confident in trying to play a bank shot, so I do try to play a double bank safety here where the 3 ball will come towards the 9 ball, and I have the cue ball go 2 rails to try to have it come back up table. But not a really good safety. I leave another cut shot, just like I did with the 2 ball. Good shot by my opponent. The cue ball comes back down table, has position on the 6 ball. Let's see, it looks like the cue ball will track towards the side rail. No. Okay, he just draws off of the 6 ball. Gonna have to do something very similar with the 7 ball and probably play the 8 ball into the upper left corner pocket. So you can see here there is a table where he's facing and he's waiting for the player to shoot on that table. And if you're wondering how many tables are in this pool hall, there are 17 9-foot diamond tables and then 2 10-foot 3-cushion tables. Ooh, bobbles the 7 ball out of the pocket and does scratch. So I've had ball in hand with 3 balls on the table before. You remember from my previous match? And I wasn't able to run it out. So you can see the angle that I left myself on the 7 ball is to have the cue ball come off the short rail and back out to play the 8 ball into the side pocket. And now I have a cut angle to where I can cut the 8 ball into the side pocket and the cue ball will naturally head up table and hit the short rail and then come back out for position on the 8. So you can see me tilt my head a little bit. I'm a little disappointed that I hit it just a little too hard. I do have this cut shot on the 9 ball. And I was barely able to take that one down. So at least now I was able to win one more rack than I did on my previous match. Now going into rack 7, I'm down 2-4. Let's see what I can do here. The wing ball misses on the left side of the pocket this time, but I did see that the 2 ball fell into the upper left corner pocket. I'm able to see the 1 ball, but I can't make the 1 ball, so I try to do another safety to where I leave the 1 ball on that side of the table and have the cue ball come to the other side of the table behind the 7, 8, and 9. So you can see that was done with a little bit of left spin so that way I can use the side rail. I really wanted the cue ball to stop directly behind the 9 ball, and you can see it rolled just a little too far. There's at least a lot of distance. The cue ball is on the short rail, so my opponent doesn't have full control of the cue ball. And he can see it. I'm just not sure if he can make it from there. Okay, so the 1 ball goes flailing around the table, comes out into the open. I have a free shot at the 1 ball now. The 3 ball is at the other end of the table. You can see here I've got some bottom spin on the cue ball. I'm going to try to draw off of the 1 ball and bring the cue ball down table for position on the 3. Now I think here with a touch of topspin, I just cut the 3 ball in, let the cue ball come off the short rail and back up for position on the 4 to go to the same pocket. Pretty much do the same thing here, though I think I do have a little bit of left spin because the cue ball will touch the short rail or the side rail. And now I have a natural angle to have the cue ball come off of the short rail and head back up table, and I want to get position for the 6 ball to go into the side pocket. So I would have liked it to go a little bit further, but this is okay. I can still cut the 6 ball into the side pocket, and with some right spin, I'll have the cue ball go 3 rails behind the 9 ball, or at least between the 8 and the 9, and come back around for position on the 7. And it looks like I'm drawing the cue ball. Am I drawing it straight back? I am. I have position on the 8, and I'll pretty much try to do the same thing to get position on the 9 ball. A little bit of a cut angle here. But I was able to take that one down too. So that right there was probably the best rack that I've had for this entire tournament. I was at least able to run from the 1 ball all the way to the 9 ball. The 2 ball was already gone, so that was at least an 8 ball run. All right, now going into rack 8, I'm trying to catch up, being down 3-4. Finally was able to make the wing ball into the corner pocket. I'm able to see the 1 ball, but I can't cut it into the side pocket that it's near, so I do try to bank it into the cross side pocket. And with where the 2 ball is at, I'll be putting bottom spin on the cue ball to try to draw back for position on the 2. So I'm successful with the bank shot, but I didn't draw the cue ball back far enough. The 3 ball does block the path that I need to get to the 2 ball in order to make it into the corner pocket. So I tried to play a carom shot and have the 2 ball come off of the 4 ball to go into the corner pocket. You can see I caught the 4 ball too full and ended up missing the shot. So in all actuality, I probably should have played some sort of safety instead of being that aggressive. So my opponent has this free shot on the 2 ball. Let's see, it probably looks like he'll just cut the 2 ball in, have the cue ball go from one side rail to the other for position on the 3 into the side pocket. Now with this cut angle, does he just try to feather the ball in? He does. That allows him to shoot the 4 ball into the corner pocket. He can pretty much just play a stop shot if he wants to. Looks like he's checking to see what type of position he'll have on the 5 ball. Tries to draw the cue ball back, but rattles the 4 ball into the pocket. So now with me, I just try to cut the 4 ball into the corner pocket. I don't hit it full. I do hit it very thin on its left side with some left spin to try to bring the cue ball a little bit closer to the 5 ball. Of course, I would have liked it to be a lot closer to the 5 ball. Now I try to cut the 5 ball into the corner pocket and have the cue ball come off the short rail for position on the 6. But you can see that shot right there was pretty much my kryptonite. Almost every time I tried to cut a ball into the corner pocket and get the cue ball to go to the short rail and come back out, I end up missing the shot. Now from here, it looks like my opponent can play some left spin on the cue ball and have the cue ball zigzag its way back up to the middle of the table for position on the 6. So he probably wanted to hit that a little bit harder, but he can still see the 6 ball. It looks like he's going to shoot it into the upper right corner pocket. Cue ball will more than likely go 2 rails from the short rail to the side rail. He'll probably have some right spin, maybe a little bit of top spin on the cue ball, and come back around for position on the 7 for the lower left corner pocket. Pretty much like that. Okay, perfect position on the 7 ball. He can just stun the cue ball to the 9 ball. Question is, will he go below the side pocket or above the side pocket? He goes below the side pocket. Looks like he's testing to see if he can stretch across the table, so he's probably going to go get his extension. And my opponent was able to take that one down. So much for me catching a momentum shift there as it comes to a stop with my opponent winning the 8th rack. Now going into rack 9, I am down 3-5. So my opponent misses the wing ball in the corner pocket this time. The 2 ball does fall into the lower left corner pocket, and he does have a shot on the 1 ball. So it looks like a bit of a thin cut shot here, so he'll probably just try to cut it in and have the cue ball go from one side rail to the other. The cue ball should naturally kind of zigzag its way towards the 8 ball and then come back out for position on the 3 ball. Might have a touch of left spin on the cue ball. Okay, cue ball barely comes out and has position on the 3, so now he can almost do the same thing for position on the 4. Ooh, but he overcuts the 3 ball. So I can't see the 3 ball. The 6 ball does block my path. So I do elect to try to do a 2 rail kick shot. I did want to kick the 3 ball from behind, but not like that. The idea was hopefully to be able to kick the 3 ball up table and get it to land somewhere behind the 9, 7, and 5 while the cue ball stays down at the other half of the table. So good shot by my opponent, making the 3 ball into the corner pocket with decent position on the 4 ball. Undercuts the 4 ball and bobbles it into the pocket as it catches the side rail. And, does this look familiar? 4 balls in the corner pocket, 5 balls at the other half of the table. Pretty much do the same thing as before as I thin the 4 ball into the corner pocket and have the cue ball come off of the short rail and back up for a position on the 5. And now I'm going to try the same shot before. Try to cut the 5 ball into the corner pocket and have the cue ball come off the short rail and back out for position on the 6. Will I make it this time? And this time I do. And you saw it looks like it bobbled its way in, so I almost missed it again. Now I pretty much got to do the same thing here. Cut the 6 ball into the corner pocket and have the cue ball come off the short rail and back up table for position on the 7. And I'm successful at making the 6 ball. Cue ball's working its way up table. And here, I can actually see the 7 ball. I just can't make it. So I do play a defensive shot here where I purposely have the 7 ball miss on what's referred to as the pro side, so it'll catch the side rail and come back towards the middle of the table along the short rail while I try to get the cue ball to come down table. Pretty much like that, but I would have liked the cue ball to be much further down the table. You can see there, my opponent answers back with a safety of his own. The 8 ball does block the path to the 7 ball, so I have to try to do a 1 rail kick shot to the short rail and try to hit the 7 ball. And I missed, giving my opponent ball in hand with only 3 balls left on the table. Okay, so it looks like he holds position for the 8 ball to go into the side pocket. Probably just gonna stun the cue ball. And he does. Has a bit of an angle on the 9 ball. But he takes that one down. Now going into rack 10, my opponent's starting to comfortably pull away, leading 6-3. Wing ball goes into the corner pocket, and the 1 ball also falls into the side pocket. Has a nice open shot on the 2 ball for the lower left corner pocket. He'll probably just try to just roll this one in. He does hit it hard enough to have the cue ball come off of the side rail for position on the 4. And probably with some topspin, he can just follow up for position on the 5, just like that. He doesn't want to be straight on this, though. He's got to be able to get position on the 6th for the same corner pocket. All right, so he had an angle to try to stun over for position on the 6, but it doesn't look like he hit it hard enough. Looks like he's trying to play a tap safety and just leave the cue ball and the 6 ball there. So I was trying to see if I can shoot this left-handed to where I can just clip the 6 ball and leave it there and push the cue ball over to the short rail, but the position of that was uncomfortable. So here I tried to do a zigzag safety here where the cue ball works its way back to the other end of the table and I leave the 6 ball at the other half of the table like that. Now, ideally, I would like the cue ball to be on the short rail as well, more towards the middle. I just didn't hit it hard enough for that. Ooh, he does try to cut the 6 ball into the corner pocket and ends up overcutting it. Ends up with a good position, though, because I do not try to make this shot. I put some left spin on the cue ball, thinly cut the 6 ball so it goes towards the middle of the short rail and have the cue ball come out towards the middle of the table. And then in retrospect, I actually should have not put left spin on the cue ball. I probably should have just thinly cut the cue ball and try to get the cue ball to come behind the 8 ball. That at least would have been a better safety. Or a better attempt at a safety, because at least here in this position, my opponent has a free shot at it. He can hit it and answer back with his own safety, but if I would have been able to get the cue ball to hide behind the 8 ball, I probably would have had a better chance. So you can see my opponent does answer back with the safety of his own. I can see the 6 ball, but I can't make it. The 8 ball does block the path for the 6 ball to go into the lower right corner pocket. So I try to play another safety here to where I purposely bank the 6 ball off the short rail and send it back down table, and then I push the cue ball from the side rail back up towards the other short rail. You can see I misjudged the speed on this one. The 6 ball should be on the short rail as well, but I end up leaving a free shot. Nicely done there. My opponent's able to get position on the 7 ball. Not able to tell what type of angle he has. He'll either play a stop shot, or if he's got the angle, he'll probably just push the cue ball to the short rail and back out for position on the 8 in the side pocket. He's got topspin on the cue ball, and that's what he does. And then probably do the same thing, just follow the cue ball so it comes off of the side rail and back out for position on the 9. And my opponent takes that one down. Now in rack 11, my opponent has a comfortable lead, 7-3. Wing ball misses the corner pocket, but the 1 ball does fall into the side pocket, and I saw that the 5 ball fell into the other side pocket. So it looks like he has a shot at the 2 ball. He can cut it to the side pocket. Cue ball will end up going to the short rail. It's a matter of how he's going to get position on the 3 ball. So not sure what he was thinking about doing there. Maybe a possible safety. Okay, we can see some bottom right spin. So he does cut the 2 ball, or tries to cut the 2 ball into the side pocket, but he undercuts it, and he would have had position on the 3 ball. Now it looks like I'm going to try to draw off of the 2 ball for position on the 3 in the lower right corner pocket. But I got to be able to make the ball. So it doesn't look like he can see enough of the 2 ball. I think the 4 ball does block it. He has some elevation on his cue now, so he's probably trying a small masse around the 4 ball. That is what he tries, and is not able to cut the 2 ball in. So now it looks like I have a 2-4 combination to the side pocket. Now I'm able to cut the 2 ball into the same side pocket. So that was a bit of luck there. I wasn't sure that I was actually going to hit the 6 ball, let alone clip the 3 ball and be able to get position like this. Because now I shoot the 3 ball into the corner pocket with some topspin to push the cue ball over to the side rail and back out for position on the 6 to go into the same pocket. Then I'm going to play this with some top right spin so the cue ball comes off of this short rail and back out for position on the 7 in the same pocket. And then play this with some top left spin to have the cue ball come off of the side rail and then the short rail and come back out for position on the 8. Now I would have liked to have hit it just a little bit harder because now I have a thin back cut shot on the 8 ball to go into the upper right corner pocket. You can see I've got some right spin, or I'm going to have some right spin on the cue ball because the cue ball will naturally go over to the short rail. I'm going to spin it over to the side rail and back out for position on the 9 to go into the opposite corner pocket. So again, not a very favorable position being on the rail like this, but I at least do have a shot on the 9 ball. And I was able to take that one down. All right, going into rack 12, I'm trying to hold on, being down 4-7. The wing ball barely misses the corner pocket this time, but I end up with a dry break. So it looks like my opponent's going to have to try to do a 1-2 combination. And he hit that one with some pace, getting the 1 ball to come back out into the open, but it doesn't look like he has a shot on the 1 ball, so he's probably going to play some sort of defensive shot. Yep, just banks the 1 ball to the other side and hides the cue ball behind the 6. So now I'm forced to kick at the side rail here, and I wanted to hit the 1 ball from the camera angle on the right side, sending the cue ball to the other half of the table over by the 7 and 9 ball while leaving the 1 ball at this half of the table. But I was unsuccessful. Ball in hand for my opponent. So let's see here. It looks like he's just going to maybe draw back for position on the 3 to go into the same pocket. And then stun the cue ball over to the side rail maybe and back out. Okay, for position on the 4. Now it looks like he can cut the 4 ball into the corner pocket, probably with some left spin on the cue ball, and come on the other side of the 8 ball and go, what, 2 rails maybe? 1, 2, even a 3rd rail for position on the 5. Another stun shot off of the 5 ball for the 6. You can see where he wants the cue ball to land after the 6 ball, so the cue ball will be hitting the side rail and coming out towards the middle of the table, probably with a touch of left spin. Bit of a stun shot to the 8 ball, probably do the same thing to have the cue ball come off of the short rail and back out for the 9 ball in the opposite corner pocket. And you now see the benefit of playing a defensive shot as my opponent is now on the hill. Okay, my opponent's on the hill being up 8-4. Let's see if I can hold on. Makes the wing ball, but does scratch in the side pocket, so I have ball in hand. So I leave myself this angle on the 1 ball so that I can cut it in, have the cue ball come off of the short rail and back up for position on the 3. I do have a touch of left spin on the cue ball, but this is not the ideal position that I want. I want to be more straighter on the 3 ball to be able to shoot it into the upper right corner pocket and just have the cue ball follow forward for position on the 5. Now that I have this cut angle, the cue ball does go over to the side rail, and I have some bottom left spin on here because when it hits the side rail, I want it to spin back up towards the short rail and basically come 3 rails for position on the 5. So at least a decent recovery from a poor shot from the 1 to the 3. Now from the 5 ball, I'm just going to try to draw off of the 5 ball to have the cue ball land towards the middle of the table and pocket the 5 in the corner pocket and have position for the 6 in the opposite corner pocket. And you can see there, I caught the side rail again, but the 5 ball does bobble its way in. Now from here, I want to be able to cut the 6 ball into the corner pocket and draw the cue ball over to the side rail and back out for position on the 7 in the side pocket. But this time, I miss. So let's see, we have some top spin on the cue ball. He's going to cut it into the corner pocket. Ooh, just barely avoids the scratch, but that allows him to come all the way around and now has position for the 7 ball in the side pocket. Now, actually right here, you can see he asked me to come watch the shot here because the cut angle is pretty close to the 8 ball. So I got to give much respect for my opponent for asking me to call the shot rather than getting a neutral person to watch this shot. But you can see there, it was clearly a clean hit on the 7 ball. So it looks like he's going to go grab his extension as he has to stretch across the table for shooting the 8 ball, probably with some bottom left spin so he can draw the cue ball back to shoot the 9 ball in the opposite corner pocket. And this 9 ball will be for the win. And my opponent takes it down, and I am now eliminated from the tournament. And that's going to do it for today's video. So a rather disappointing performance at this year's Texas State Open, as I was not able to achieve my first milestone by not going 2 and out. So now it's back to the drawing board. But like Joey from the Pool Player Podcast, who happened to make it to this year's event and I got to meet in person, he had said to me that of all the tournaments that I happened to choose to enter back into the competitive world, I chose the wrong one. And I absolutely agree with him. I probably should have started with a more B-level tournament rather than this A-plus tournament, even though I've done well in these in the past. I think the best performance that I've ever done in the Texas State Open is 1 or 2 matches just outside of the money. Now, the biggest benefit that I do get out of these high-level tournaments like this is the experience so that I can hopefully control my nerves better than last time. But I also really get to see what is weak in my game. And as you saw, I need to start practicing 9-ball breaking without a template rack and still try to get that wing ball to go into the corner pocket. I also need to work on my kick shots, as a lot of my kick shots were failed attempts and I gave ball in hand to my opponent. But not only do I get to see what I need to work on in my game, I also get to see a lot of the professionals out there. As you saw, Billy Thorpe was playing on the table next to me, and I was also able to get a few photos with some of the other professionals like Corey Dool, Shane Van Boning, and Skylar Woodward. So this was a lot of fun. I look forward to next year's event as I need to do a lot of practicing to get prepared for it. So if you like what you saw, give this video a thumbs up. and don't forget to subscribe. Take care, everybody.